open and transparent trade in Europe and cutting EU red tape. Europe needs reform.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my video blog for September here from Strasbourg. It's a beautiful day. I know it's a beautiful day for you too, so we're making the most of this lovely late summer weather. We've had a really interesting day here today with the presentation from Jean-Claude Juncker of his State of the Union address. It was very interesting because, of course, Brexit was mentioned many times, and it's an opportunity for members of Parliament to make their views known about where they want Europe to go. Because it's often characterised as, those terrible federal Europeans, they just want more and more Europe. But there are some very strong voices from other countries and other political groups saying this is not the answer. The answer has to be much more subtle and much more focused on the issues that really matter, particularly the defence of the outside border of Europe. And it sounds an awful word to use against refugees, which, let's face it, they're fellow human beings. It's rather a military word. But there has to be some sort of control, and that's something which Europe is most definitely getting to grips with now. But there is also the wider military issue that has been mentioned, and Jean-Claude Juncker made it very clear that he believes that there should be a military force for Europe that is in effect, you could argue in competition to, or you could say complementary to, NATO forces in Europe. And this is something which in the Brexit debate played out, that this idea that there was going to be a European army. And you can tell from Jean-Claude Juncker that he wants one. But we know that the power doesn't lie there. It lies with the member states. And if the member states want it, then it will happen. And I think there's a much stronger chance of it happening now than there was with the UK at the table, because the UK was very strongly against that, and lots of other member states came up behind that strong opinion. It'd be really fascinating to see where that goes now. But I can tell you many MEPs who simply don't support that and think it's the wrong priority for Europe, when that is already well handled by NATO. And the feeling here, first time back after a nice summer break, has been pretty good. Still pretty friendly towards we Brits. We continue under our instruction from London that we carry on as we were. We carry our positions, we carry out our functions, and we make sure that we, the UK, don't lose any positions within the Parliament. And that's what I'm doing. So a couple of other things I've been doing. I've been working on CITES, which is the Convention Trade in Endangered Species, particular reference to things like ivory and the trade in ivory, and amazing trade in animals like pangolins, which most people have never heard of, but they're scaly animals, and the scales are taken off and ground down and used in Oriental medicine to such an extent that 12 species of this poor animal are almost extinct. So they are going to be added to the endangered species list, and this is an area where, of course, cooperation between countries is absolutely essential, because we have to make sure that there's no export and there's certainly no import into the UK of this terrible stuff. So next time you wander into your Chinese herbalist, if you do, and there are many on the high streets, just make sure they're not using pangolin, because those poor animals are being driven into extinction. And we also had a really interesting thing about mammoth ivory. There are thousands, tens of thousands of mammoths being dug up in Russia, in the steppes, and that ivory is being put onto the market as old elephant ivory. Again, really interesting, and something that we need a lot of international cooperation on. And finally, today I hosted here, after that fantastic Olympic Games, fantastic for we Brits, and with the Paralympics going on now, I hosted an event today from Britain called Skip to be Fit, and that's encouraging people to get out there and do some exercise. I know I'm not the best example of that, but actually you would be surprised. I came second out of all the MEPs who did it. How many steps you can skip in 2 minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, I did 161 with my rope. You've got any spare time or a loose moment, have a go at seeing if you can beat that and help your fitness too. So I'll sign off. I look forward to seeing you in October.